again, everyone. Welcome back to this channel. I watched the first 4 episodes of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Should I say Lord of the Rings? And I thought it was boring, uninteresting, uneventful, repetitive. It just didn't seem, it wasn't good. Honestly, it wasn't good. I find it was boring and a waste of money. That's what I thought it was. Not even for the reasons that they tried to make it seem that way, it wasn't for that. But now we've learned that Rings of Power Season 2 begins production in the UK. So after spending $1 billion to make a first season that was, I can't even say if it got any better after a while, but what I've heard, nobody thinks it's gotten any better. I stopped at 4 episodes and I was done after that. I said it in a video I did that it was boring, repetitive nonsense that didn't make any sense. Some people agreed with me, some people didn't agree with me, some people strongly disagreed with me. But it turns out, I found an article from a couple of weeks ago that I'm not the only one that thought it was boring. Right? The Rings of Power show is so boring, it keeps making this Amazon analyst fall asleep. An analyst for the very company that made the show kept falling asleep because of how boring it is. Let's get to what he had to say. Even though the first 4 episodes of Prime Video's widely expensive Lord of the Rings TV series, The Rings of Power, pretty much bored me out of my mind, I'm going to keep watching. Good luck with that. Especially since the episode of the series that just dropped over the weekend. Yeah, okay, something enough to look at. Let's get to what he had to say. He said that the problem with the slow pace of the show thus far, though it's that some viewers might not end up going the distance and drop off in frustration. I'm one of them. That includes viewers like Tom Ford, an Amazon analyst who wrote in a recent note for investors that the performance of the Rings of Power has left him concerned. He had to say, "We fell asleep during our first viewings of episodes 1, 3, and 4 and have not watched episode 5 yet." I cannot blame them for that. Getting through those episodes was mind-numbing. Says he goes that they couldn't get to them due to a combination of not enjoying the first 4 episodes and a busy schedule. He went on to write that he had been hopeful in the lead up to the launch of the Rings of Power. However, he's grown more pessimistic since then about the series, which currently has a 38% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Nearly 1 month after its September 1st launch and 5 episodes in on an 8-episode season, the audience response as measured by Rotten Tomatoes is far worse than we initially expected, as suggested by the critics' warm reception, and is not improving as we had initially anticipated. Now, the reason you can't take these critics and their warm reception is that they seem to like everything. These critics, I would love to know who they are, who they're being financed by, all of this, because shows that are terrible, they come out saying that it's the best thing ever and they love it and they're so happy with it. It's terrible garbage, but you come out talking about how you love it. How is anybody supposed to believe you? Meanwhile, you have YouTubers like myself who give honest reviews and people trying to bite our heads off about it. But here is an actual analyst for the company that makes the show, and he's saying he was bored to sleep. That's what it is. He said it here. We fell asleep during our first viewings. The show was so boring it put him to sleep. And others. This is what you spent $1 billion on, boring people to sleep. There's some tweets here from people talking about the Lord of the Rings and how it didn't take it to them at all. I'm having a perfectly fine time with Rings of Power, but why does every line of dialogue sound like it was written contentiously by committee and watered down to its most boring iteration? So clearly you're not having a fine time with it. You've already said that it's waterlogged and you already used the normal term that it's boring. You're not having a fine time with it. It's a boring show. Somebody else wrote, it's really incredible how bad Rings of Power is. Like, not only is it boring, ugly, uneventful, repetitive, and flat, it also seems to actively go out of its way to avoid becoming interesting or telling you anything about its characters. Okay? Amazon, for its part, seems satisfied thus far with the performance of the show. How could they possibly do? This had to be some kind of, there had to be something underneath this. Have to be. One of the most expensive in TV history. You should have $1 billion on this crap, and that's what you're doing. Okay. In fact, the company said that on its first day of availability on Prime Video, the show garnered 25 million global viewers. Is that why you hid it for close to a week? Is that why you hid the show? Why you hid the numbers for the show for almost a week? Because it garnered so much? Alright, if we work off of Amazon's reported figures of 25 million viewers for the launch and an audience of 200 million Prime members who engage with Prime Video, we come up with the following: 12.5% penetration or 87.5% lack of interest. Wow, that's a kick in the nuts. That's a kick in the nuts. The bottom line is, this show is boring to hell. I'm not the only one who thinks that. You have Galadriel, or should I always use the, as they put it, Galadriel. They make sure that you have to pronounce it that way. It's a very unlikable character, flat, uninteresting, nothing of interest about this character at all. The rest of the show has a bunch of people in it that you could easily forget because of how much you're not interested in any of them and what they do. Yet somehow, by some miracle, they're getting a season 2 because they had to produce a season 2 for this. If they've already begun production in the UK, they have to make a season 2 for this because they spent $1 billion to make season 1, and it's a boring waste of time. Season 2 is also going to be a boring waste of time, but they have to keep pushing it as hard as they can. I said it before, people, and somebody else has come out and agreed with me. Rings of Power show is so boring, it keeps making an Amazon analyst fall asleep. That's what it does. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, so hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.